Well, today we have a treat on Unwrapped Wednesdays. Today, soldiers and postmen's uniforms came in. I couldn't believe it. Got home, saw this on the doorstep. This just came out from the Kickstarter from Dan Burson Games and David Thompson. Now, in this case, he's partnered with Michael Kochman. I hope I've said that right, but today we're talking about the very first day of World War II and the defense of the Polish post office in Danzig on the first day of World War II. So, let's take a look here at the back of the box, and as you know, not a big fan of watching people struggle to get their games open, so we're just gonna rip that right off of there and get it out of the way. So, back of the box, we got Soldiers and Postmen's Uniform is a skirmish-level solitaire game that takes place in the free city of Danzig on the first day of the Second World War. Danzig came into being in 1920 in accordance with the 1919 Treaty of Versailles, and over the next 2 decades, you know what? You're gonna read this when you buy it. So I'm going to leave that alone, and let's go ahead and get into the box. After all, this is an unboxing, not story time with the back of the box. So let's take a quick look. Box farts, we like that? All right, let's do it this way. Oh, look at that, very fancy. All right, we have Soldiers and Postmen's Uniform, the rule book. If you have played other games in, I kind of hate to call it a series, but other similar games to this, right? You will undoubtedly recognize rulebook. This is the same kind of stuff that you've seen before, I think, in some part. We got about 33 pages on here, but as I wrote previously, don't take page count as the reason why you should take a look at the rulebook. Instead, understand what it's trying to present and how it's laid out. And another way of saying that is, when rulebooks have lots of pictures and examples and great big single column text layout with great gameplay examples, they gonna be longer. So, let's take a quick peek here. We've got some breakdown of components, and this is what we were looking for, these great, beautiful shots of the components of the game. This is going to look, this looks like it reads like David is walking you through the game. As somebody who had a chance to get a demo of Undaunted from David, I will say he is an awesome teacher. So I expect the rulebook to be fantastic. Now we've got a game board here. Let's take a peek at this thing. And it's beautiful. So, let's see here. It's glossy, as you can tell from the reflections all over this board, but like other games, you're going to see that same kind of progression and the tactical level, and even more tactical level here with individual ground level, upper level, interior, exteriors, and you can kind of see what's on the way to get you. So there we go. We've got a great game board. Let's look. We have 6 sheets of counters. These are my favorite style of counters. So we have a full punch out. Now these are glossy finish on the edge of these counters, which is great. I love the graphics on these. One of the things that always appeals to me in this series are the fantastic photographs that are used to supplement it. And not that counters with NATO symbols on it don't tell a story, but getting a chance to see these dudes in their resplendent pictures from the 1930s, or maybe sometimes a little later when they're a little older, is totally a treat. It helps bring the history to life, and after all, that's part of the appeal. So we have these 6 counter sheets. They're not particularly densely packed, so you know, I have to wonder, did we pay a lot for this premium card stock? And maybe this could have been condensed down a little bit more, but you know what? Guess what I'm not gonna have to do? Counter clip. That might work for Ard and all of his great counter clipping live streams, but when I can avoid it, I certainly like to avoid it. Now we have a series of handouts. So these are all single-sided. So again, I hate to think that we're potentially paying more for components that are kind of not making great use of the stock that it's written on, but that's okay too. So let's take a look. We've got a thing in here for the clearing phase and escape phase, defensive phase actions, defensive phase moving and attributes, and then the enemy phase. So I love this because one of the things that I think about a lot when I'm solitaire gaming is, since I don't have to make space for another person at the table, I would prefer to have things spread out. Probably that's why these are just single-sided, so that I can at a glance kind of see what's going on, and that really helps. We've got cubes. Obviously, this is not a war game. We've got our dice in here, which would have some different sets of numbers on it. So let's crack this open and take a look here, because we've got some regular six-sided dice, right? Boring. Oh, look at that. They're all sixes now. We've got a six-sided die here that's numbered 1 through 6, and then we've got another six-sided die that's numbered 7 through 12. So that's kind of neat. And of course, these beautiful cards. And I wish I had opened these sooner, but I have not. But I see that they have a nice, easy open strip on it if I can find the edge. Let's see here. I think I probably can. You know what? We're going to resort to our trusty hobby knife, which I'm sure you keep at hand as well. So let's get into it. There we go. Look at that. Cracking them open. Perfect. So these are great glossy cards, great finish. The graphics on these cards are really exceptional. They are nice and crisp. So even though these look like they were taken from, you know, maybe some people who've done some reenactments, perhaps, and then edited, they actually look really good. And I like the kind of pseudo paint effect that they've applied to it. They've got this nice like stucco background kind of texture to the cards, which is great. Anything with text on it, I love having a larger text on a card, so let's take a quick look at one of these. Let's get that up a little bit higher here and then get a little access to it. There we go, look at that. Text on that is super easy to read, I love that. And we have some nice information at the bottom here as well, including the card number itself, which certainly makes any sort of playthrough easy, and then even the name of the game in abbreviation at the bottom of the card. Fantastic. We've got a second deck here. It looks like more of the same, so we don't need to open that. We're in 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and that has been opening soldiers in Postmen's uniform. Get it today. Dan Verson Games, David Thompson, Michael Cockman. Looks like a winner. Awesome. War Game HQ. Have a great one.